Hello! Welcome to this episode of the FANMEN podcast. I'm DJ Gove.
Chris Davis.
Sean Hogarty.
How's it going, guys?
It's
doing well, sir.
It's going okay.
It's going. So it's been a while since we got together. We all had stuff going on. People were out of town. People were off of work, etc. So we're a little late to the game talking about this. Everyone else is kind of giving in their 2 cents. But on November 12th, unfortunately, Mr. Stanley Liebert passed away at the ripe young age of 95.
Mm-hmm.
Sucked.
Yep.
Horrible day. Yeah. How'd everyone find out?
I don't remember.
I think I saw it on Twitter first.
Yeah, I honestly, it's been long enough that I don't remember. I remember everything.
I think I saw it on Twitter and may have been a text from Sean.
Yeah, I know.
After.
I know the first thing I did was texted you guys. I think maybe I had just gotten home from work, but I don't remember what time, the news broke.
I had walked back into work from going to the gym at lunch, and I'm walking in the hallway, and people walk by, they stop, and they go, "Hey, are you okay?" Yeah. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why? What's up?" And they're like, they had this look like, "Oh no, he doesn't know yet." I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Go look at the internet." I'm like, So I'm thinking, first thing I'm thinking is, please tell me like Mark Hamill or something didn't die, or but it was Stan. So I mean, it sucked, but I mean, he was 95.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
he had a good run. Doesn't make anyone sad, but
well, it's interesting as people pass in this current age of media and celebrity, and particularly as it's become, pop culture has shifted towards broader nerd type things, but also broader celebrity and fame being a thing in and of itself. And Stan's somebody who became, a public figure and an entertainment figure separate from.
He became famous for being Stan.
Yeah,
exactly.
He was a mascot almost.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good thing.
Yeah. I get to the point where I couldn't go on the internet because I was starting to like unload on people for just saying wrong shit. Like if I saw one more like,
isn't that what the internet's for?
Like Instagram tart with a Deadpool t-shirt. Oh, I miss Stan Lee. You don't know the fuck he is. He didn't create Deadpool, you idiot.
Out of the three of us, the one that would take this personally and lash out at people.
Yes.
Seriously, yeah.
It would totally be you.
I'm not a rational person. No, it was fucking frustrating. Like, you go on Facebook and that's all everyone was talking about. And I'm like, I'm just replying to people like, you've never read a comic book. Please do something else. Like, give me, like, show a picture of like, stop it. I mean, I take it personally. Like, well, the thing is, like, but
I don't think you can. He's associated with the comics, but he's been known for.
Has he written a comic since we were born?
The last thing he had a small piece in the 75th anniversary of Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, then he did, what was the character's name? He did like he helped create a character for like a small indie label a while ago, I think, too.
Yeah,
I mean, he really didn't write anything after like 72.
Right.
Everything he did was in like 61 to 72. Everything.
Yeah. It was like 10, 12-year stretch.
Yeah. But it's just one of those things. Like, I understand he's in the movies, and that's the other thing too. People think like he directed the Avengers. No, he didn't direct the Avengers. No, he doesn't own Marvel. No, it's like it was just.
He didn't get a penny from any of those things.
No, it just drove me bonkers because it's one of those things. It's like even like when Carrie Fisher passed away, that one I took a little harder because she was younger and you didn't know it was gonna like.
Yeah.
I mean. But it's like everyone has like a Princess Leia moment. Everyone, but Stan was like ours. Like, it's like when you were a kid and you were reading books and you were getting picked on for it and shit like that. He was like the guy who's like, nah, you can read comics. It's okay. You can read my stuff. It's fine. It's cool. So I did take it a little personal when people were like, oh, Stanley, I'm like, you know what the fuck you're talking about? Stop it. Just go do something else. Leave me alone.
I definitely think I count as one of the people who doesn't necessarily know a lot about, I mean, I associate him with Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. I associate him with, everything about traditional Marvel comics and how it got to where it is today. But most of my knowledge of him and his voice came from, his later days as a pop figure. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
When you and I were coming up reading the books, Stan was out of the game. He was there as
and I wasn't reading
figurehead,
those. Yeah, I wasn't reading Marvel comic books.
I was a DC guy.
Yeah. But I've known his literal voice and his face, for a long long time.
Yeah.
But, but for me, the thing I miss is just he was an interesting pop culture anchor across so many things, right? Whether it was the cameos or, showing up on Big Bang Theory or, having his own Comic-Con or all these different things.
Yeah.
He was just an anchor and a bridge and a tie to these different
he was
areas.
A constant.
Yeah.
And you didn't, like I said, even like, he was 95, but you kind of start to get the feeling it's like he's never going anywhere. Like he's still kicking. Like I know he tapped from the con thing, but he was,
See, I had the opposite reaction there.
Yeah.
After the last couple times seeing him at the con. From the first time I met him to the last time he came to Boston.
Yeah.
There was a part of me, as sad as it was, that was relieved that people weren't using him as a puppet anymore. He couldn't, the last time he was in Boston, he couldn't acknowledge you.
Yeah.
He didn't react when you took a picture with him. He didn't look up. Somebody had to tell him how to spell his name.
Yeah, so it sounds bad, but it was kind of like Weekend at Bernie's.
Tough. It really was. They walked him from spot to spot.
So that is something that makes me wonder what we have ahead of us in terms of pop culture society. The money train that fame provides people who can sustain a presence in the public eye can be a thing, a self-sustaining thing, or, for the estate or for the family or for the agents or for the, and so, when there are disincentives for people or there are influences that might, like, he probably could have taken it a little bit easier than he did.
And if you believe the reports that are out there, a lot of the stuff he did was not by choice.
Right. And that's, that, I don't know how you prevent that, but it did seem a little bit, like he was taken advantage of.
Yeah, it's tough, certainly in the later years.
Yeah.
Once all this strife happened, you've gone to enough cons. You probably bumped into Max or something. It's some of the stories you heard after they removed Max as a Sandler were tough to believe because that guy doted on Stan.
Yeah.
I mean, he was his keeper.
Yep.
He didn't let anybody get near him. He was the one that was cutting off signing lines and he would just shut it down when Stan it's time to call Joni.
Yeah.
I mean, every night they'd shut down whatever Stan was doing so he could say goodnight to his wife.
Yeah.
It was the most adorable thing.
And I said it too, is like because she passed away 2 years ago?
Yeah. She did. It was, so it would have been 3 years ago at the old Boston con that it was supposed to be the last. That's right. So I did, thinking it's going to be his last time, did the last experience with Stan, and Jimmy Palmiotti did a panel with him at 8:30, and they had to cut it off so he could go say goodnight to Joni. Yeah. And talking to Max in the back of the room, Max was saying back then, that was it.
Yeah.
Stan was done. They weren't doing any more.
Yeah, that was because was that after Rhode Island?
He popped up at Rhode Island the next year as the last Rhode Island appearance.
The last New England appearance.
Yeah, the last New England appearance.
Yeah, that's the last time I saw him.
See, were those really him pushing to do more?
I don't think so. That Boston, where he was doing the panel, I mean, he was engaging. He was Stan.
Yeah.
Every time after, there was a little less of him that came back around.
And I wanted to go to that one.
Kind of heartbreaking.
It was a bad time. I couldn't swing it.
I went by myself.
Yeah.
And it's Heather and Harley were off doing other things.
It's one of those things, like, it's sad that obviously that he's gone, but especially after Joni died, you figure it's like, not to say like, I'm glad he died, but it's almost like it's for the best. Like it was, it was time.
Everybody's got a time. Right?
No, I know. And it's like, but with how I've seen it before. Some people too that I know, that whole, like, when you get older like that, you've been married for 60 years, where that whole broken heart syndrome thing is real. And the fact that
it's amazing he lasted that long.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I wouldn't have been shocked if he was gone in a month or two after.
That's what I thought too. I was like, because I told my daughter, I was like, hey, just to let you know, I was like, Stan's wife died. She goes, oh, that's sad. I was like, it's just to let you know, it's coming. Yeah. It's not going to be long. Yeah. Not to be like morbid or anything, but you knew because they were so connected at the hip. It was insane.
He went downhill rapidly after that.
He did. Yeah, he did.
This is really uplifting.
No, I'm just we're talking about death. But no, we're gonna pick it up though. We're gonna pick up. So it's very sad. But think about all the good stuff that he left us.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, he worked at Marvel from 61 to 72, I think, as a writer. Worked with all the greats, Kirby and Ditko and all those guys. And it's just like, didn't he write some stuff that was Romita around that far back, 70s?
Romita Sr. might have.
No, I think Romita Sr. is when he was editing chief of Marvel or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
he created the Marvel method.
He did. He created. any Marvel
him
character.
And Kirby.
Yep. Any Marvel character that's worth a damn, he had a hand in. So obviously, everyone knows he's Spider-Man's papa. That was his baby. Even though Kirby did Captain America, Stan had a hand in some of the stories, but that's a debatable fight we don't need to get into. He brought Thor out of Norse mythology into comic books.
That was
created the Fantastic Four.
The Fantastic Four
Gave you the first family.
Yep. The Incredible Hulk. The X-Men. Possibly, I think that's Marvel's best-selling book. If you put all of them together over the years, X-Men books outsell everything, I think.
It's a little skewed by the Jim Lee numbers. But
yeah.
Just that one book.
Just that one book kind of skews everything.
7.5 billion copies.
Yeah.
I think I bought like 150 of them, so it's going to put me through college. It didn't put me through college. I think it paid
put
for
you in a dollar bin.
I think it paid for one burrito in college. 150 copies of X-Men #1. Yeah. Who else? Black Panther.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It was him and Kirby.
Hank Pym. Ant-Man. He put the Avengers together. I mean,
and that was my memories of Stan. It was Stan and Jack.
Yeah.
That was the creative team. I mean, Stan wrote the characters, but the images, that was the background. Like, I was like you, Sean. I didn't read a lot of the older stuff until after. So there really wasn't understanding. He was the elder statesman by the time he was already there by the time I was getting into that.
But you as soon as you got into the hobby, into the world, you knew about Stan.
Oh, of course.
You learned about him like he was one of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all this stuff, this is...
Yeah, I knew of him as a pop culture figure before I knew of him for the history that he had.
Yeah. Because we didn't have the internet back then either to go Google, who's this Stan Lee guy? I had to learn from like buddies' dads and uncles and stuff like that, and just finding like old magazines with articles about it and stuff like that. And
in the woods?
No, not in the woods. No.
Those are different.
Yeah, in a old broken down avocado refrigerator in the woods. No. No, it's just, you get the, and then once I got a little bit older, I started reading the Wizard books, and there's always like, pop-up things about Stan. Oh, Stan's doing this, and and then you start. Everyone always touched on something else he did over the years. And it was just, it's the amount of content he wrote was insane. It was insane.
Well, it's definitely you talk about the Wizard books, learning about the industry and things like that. You used to have to find, industry mags about things. You're behind the scenes. Nowadays, the barriers to learning anything, whether you want to know it or not, just
handful of Comic-Cons.
Yeah. Yep.
Literally 2 or 3 Wizard shows in San Diego.
Nothing around here.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing. You go to like, flea market show kind of things, like, just folding tables full of long boxes in a tent.
Yeah, the dirt cons.
Yeah, exactly. And or like flea markets, you talk to other comic people, and that's how you picked up on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then you saw, and then I think he popped into like the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon. They had him on that, and like, oh, that's Stan. And then I saw him like on, was it Conan O'Brien at one point in time back when I think he was on Johnny Carson.
Did he make an appearance on the Electric Company when they used to do the Spider-Man short on there?
I've heard that.
I vaguely remember something.
I'm not sure if it's a true memory, but that's my first knowledge of Spider-Man.
Everybody out there, don't
was
crash me
Electric
if I'm
Company,
wrong.
right?
Yeah,
Spider-Man was Electric Company for me. That was why I watched Electric Company.
Then it spun into like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Yeah.
Oh, with like it was him and Iceman
and Firestar.
But I don't remember if Stan was ever part of that or not from my memory. But it seems like he might have been.
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I think he did the voiceover.
That could be.
I think he did the voice on the intro.
Yeah.
Little cutaways.
Yeah.
So you learned his voice, and then you end up every. I get to the point where I forget what age it was, but once I'd heard him talk a couple of times, you get to the point where you're reading the books, and every time you see like an edit or something like that, you read it in Stan's voice in your head.
Yeah. Spider Friends.
Yeah, exactly. I do it with a lot of stuff. Even now, like if I read like a Superman book, like Lois Lane sounds like Margot Kidder, and Superman sounds like Chris Reeves, just the way it is.
Sure.
But
well, he'll be missed. It will be interesting to see what the coming years are like. I mean, such a major figure passing, but the train of entertainment and the Marvel juggernaut.
Yeah, I think he's got 4 cameos in the can already.
Yeah.
So Avengers 4, whenever that cameo pops, the place is gonna erupt.
Of course.
So hopefully they don't put it like a pivotal moment or something like that, because it's gonna ruin the freaking movie. So
I don't know. I kind of hope that in the middle of the credits they put in all the bloopers from all the all the cameos,
That'd be
right?
that'd
Because
be
there's
fun.
just the dumb stuff that's in the can. They should run a bunch of them.
They should run all the cameos that they have in the can during the credits, because Avengers 4 is like kind of killing off the phase.
Yeah,
And just like
Yeah,
start
you're right.
fresh next phase with
yeah.
just get out now. And there's the people that want like Deadpool to start doing the cameos on set. Stanley, it's like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
He might need to release it as an extra. They're already
Oh, there
talking
you
a 3-hour runtime on that thing.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I don't care how much I love something.
Yeah.
You get over 2.5, I'm gonna.
Return of the King. I remember I almost died of like toxic shocks. I had to piss so bad. Return of the King.
Yeah,
I was like, I'll go after the movie.
17 endings.
I'll go after the movie.
God.
3 hours later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's got some more cameos in the can, and I mean, he's always going to be around. I mean, he's Stan.
I mean, God bless him. That kind of longevity and that kind of reach. I mean, he reached how many generations of people?
I know.
It's going back to the Boston Con that you and I met at.
Mm-hmm.
The one reason Kevin was there, but Harley wanted to go see Stan.
Mhm.
That was the big thing. That's 2 years ago now? 2.5 years ago?
Yeah, I
So she's 7 years old and have already done a school project on Stan and
yeah.
wanted to go meet. I mean, that was her big thing. And she's beaming in that
Yeah,
picture.
when we went to Rhode Island, Athena that was the big thing. I was going to go by myself. I was like, I'm going to hit Stan one last time
Mhm.
since he's done. And she's like, I'm going. Like, what are you going to say? You know, I mean, I brought her up on the comic stuff, and she's like, I'm going. She was more excited than me. So she made sure, she had a Marvel character costume. We had to make a separate Marvel costume. She's like, I want to do a Stan character. I'm like, no, you don't, because I want to make you like an old classic, like Wasp costume or something like that.
Mhm.
So she did Rogue, whatever, but she was so happy to go to that VIP thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's worth it for that. It's like, it's cool. Because he said, multiple generations. So, like, my uncle's read books that he wrote. And then I got, I did a lot of Spider-Man books back in the day, even though I don't care for them now. And my kid's into him. Everyone knows who he is. And
I never
He has
actually
comics.
met him, so I'm the one of the three of us that didn't. But I don't really feel, I've always been okay with experiencing things. Once HD television came out, honestly, my desires to go out in the world and see things for myself really dropped off.
That could be that MIT education too.
No, I think it's just, it's
yeah. Well, you're not a big, like,
excessive risk
meat-
management.
You're not a crowd person.
yeah.
not a
And you're not a
crowd
meet
person.
and greedy kind of person either.
The
really.
one,
I've done a few. I've enjoyed some, but
one of the only cons I
Yeah.
went to with you.
It was
One of your
terrific.
heroes was there, and you didn't.
Which,
we went to Northeast Comic Con.
when
Adam West was there, and you
We
wanted
went
no
to
part
his-
of waiting in line or doing any of that.
Yeah, I
stuff.
don't want to wait, but I did. We went to his panel, and I really enjoyed that. But that was me listening to him talk, not just being one of the people in the line stepping up. But yeah, I'm not a. Every time I've met anybody, I feel like a blithering idiot. I don't feel like myself at all, and it's
The adorable thing about Stan was no matter how many times you went to see him talk at panels or anything, it was the same story.
oh
It
yeah,
was, yeah.
He
Yeah.
was playing Stan.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
And it didn't matter which one. I went to an X-Men panel and he was with Claremont and who was the third person on that?
I was that Marvel Legends panel.
It was at Madison Square Garden. I can't remember who the third
That
guy
the one with
was
Kevin?
now. Yeah, Kevin moderated it. But
The panel's so good. Chris bought
He-
the hockey shoes. Yeah, Kevin's back.
he he owned the room. But it was Stan telling the same anecdotes that you heard him
Yeah.
tell in Boston, that you heard him
and
tell
everyone
in Rhode
just
Island.
soaks up because
And
it's Stan. What
It's
are you gonna say?
the same punchlines and everything, but it was Stan playing Stan.
Yeah.
And it was
And when, he's at a con, all the, other guys are, would come up and just, pat him on the shoulder and say
yeah,
hi
it's
to
like your uncle. You heard all the stories a
Yeah.
million
Exactly,
times, but
yeah.
you still want to
Uncle
sit there and listen.
Mhm.
Grunkle Stan.
hmm Yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean, there's a huge void. And it's like, I mean, I was sad, but I wasn't like devastated because like I said, I think it was for the, I want to say that's what he wanted, but I think it was for the best. It was time.
Yeah.
It was time. So it's, he's in a better place now and everything. And like I said, he left us a ton of goodies.
Oh yeah.
A ton of goodies. I mean, the reason that we have
You'll never see anybody like
nothing
that.
no, there'll never
put
be.
away now.
The
It's
world's
always
changed
available.
enough where you'll never see a creator.
I mean, just think about it. You go through the list he created, even though they were all in Marvel, and I read more DC stuff back in the day, but all the guys he created, obviously now they're all billion-dollar movie
Yeah.
characters and stuff like that, and then just look at currently, they can't make one new character. All they do now is just gender swap and race swap characters.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we need to get some diversity. We'll create a Muslim Green Lantern, or we'll change Mrs. Marvel. It's like they can't do it anymore. They can't come up with one. He did dozens.
I think there are things being created all the time. The problem is the marketing money. Nobody is willing to spend marketing money to go on something that doesn't already have a
especially
bite.
with the numbers being down as far as they'd rather beat the same drum. It's
But even so, it's like even like when you go on, like, I mean, there's books on Kickstarter and stuff like that, but most of them aren't like superhero books. They're like,
the stuff Palmiotti and Connor do.
Yeah.
Amazing kicks. Some of their books are unbelievable and it has nothing to do with superheroes.
But you don't, I mean, it's just the inherent marketing benefit of anything a broad number of people know in terms of a name, a property. You're not going to get away from that. And things will come.
You're at the point, you got to think about when some of these characters were created. If you had one more person that got hit with fill-in type of radiation here, that turned them into a super. I mean, they banged that drum over and over.
They did.
And over again.
Yeah, Stan was definitely a science experiment kind of guy.
Well, sure. Yeah, no.
Like his two calling cards, science experiments and,
when he was
double
creating
initials.
those things,
Stephen Strange,
now
Peter Parker.
Now we have the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
So the 6-year-old can sit there and disprove that. Like, well, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
that can't happen.
He can't touch the green stuff.
Exactly, but
there's no such thing as cameras.
Yeah, and they're classics.
Yeah. So I said, I mean, he's the world will never know another Stan Lee. It's just not going to happen. So I'm glad. I'm glad my daughter grew up in where he was still around and she got to meet him, and she, she's not like the biggest comic book collector, but she, for a 17-year-old girl, she got a decent stash and she appreciates the business and the craft of writing and drawing and all that stuff. So I'm glad for that. Like I said, your daughter got to meet her. She's even younger than mine, and
that's the fact that she was able to check that box.
Yeah,
was a big deal.
Yeah, because when you miss those boxes, it sucks. Like I missed the Adam West box because I had it all lined up, everything was paid for, and then that happened, and it sucks. Like I'll never forgive myself for the one you went to, the Northeast one. I was supposed to be at that show, and my daughter was going to visit her in-laws, and I was like, let's just jump on a plane while we're at the airport and go to Disney for the weekend. And I missed, and I came home, I'm going to go see it. Like, it was last weekend. Fuck me, come on.
Yeah. That's why I missed Stan in Rhode Island when we were in Disney that weekend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So not checking a box sucks.
You can't check all the boxes, DJ.
But I try.
Yep.
I try to check them all.
You do try.
I know.
They have planes.
Yes.
You can.
No.
But I got this one. It's fine. The first time, I forget. I was at something when I was younger. I think I was like a middle school age. And he was around here for something. I don't know if it was like it wasn't a comic book convention, but he was around for something. Car show. I don't remember what it was. But I remember I was at a place.
He used to do the Northeast Auto Show.
Maybe it was that. So I remember I was at a place.
Heinz.
And me and my buddies, just me and all my friends were walking around. And like, oh, yeah, this place is kind of boring. All of a sudden, I heard the voice. And I'm like, no. And they're like, what? And I look over and they were walking somewhere. I was like, oh my fucking God. I'm like, dude, it's Stan Lee. And they're like, who? I'm like, the guy who created Spider-Man. They're like, oh, okay, whatever. Spider-Man sucks. It's like, yeah. And I had nothing to get signed on me and everything like that. And I had no freaking, 12, 13 years old. I had no money on me. I spent my money on a corn dog and shit. So I couldn't go get a picture, nothing. So, and that haunted me for a long time. It's like I was in a building with Stan Lee. I didn't get a chance to just go say hi even, So that's why when he came back around, I was like, I had to check the box. So like I said, it wasn't the best experience because like I said, they had him propped up on a stick basically, but he can say he did it. So like I said, we'll all miss Stan, I think.
Yep.
There'll be another one. It's a sad day. I mean, we're doing this a couple weeks out now. Everyone else has already done their stuff, but it's kind of good to. I feel better because it was good to I had to let it sit for a couple days.
Yeah. And
you realize, I said, said not to be more, but I realized it's it's maybe for the best. It was time for him to move on and to end the Stan train.
Well, I'm glad when we found out. We just found out.
Yeah.
You didn't have the 4 or 5 days like Carrie being in the coma and all that.
Yeah,
I think it was easier to process.
That's a good point because it did just kind of happen, Yeah. So like I said, everyone got the tribute. They didn't watch. I watched. Kevin did the Fat Man the next night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I listened to it.
It was great. It was great because the other thing too is he's coming at it from both angles as as a comic book fan and as his friend. They became real good friends.
Yeah.
So it was nice to hear someone who's like, oh yeah, because all the other ones you see nothing against you see Chris Evans or Hugh Jackman. Oh yeah, I met Stan once. They talk about him a bit. It's like, okay, well, whoop-de fucking Kadu, he met Stan.
Yeah.
He shot by the set to do a cameo.
Yeah.
That's Stan. But to hear someone who actually knew him, because he didn't really, all the other guys he worked with are gone. Dicko's gone, and Kirby's gone, all those guys. So it was nice to have someone who was like a friend who knew him, and he told some great Stan stories too. The stories were good. The one with Stan was coming to his house for the poetry reading.
Yes.
For his kid's school, and he was a day early, and he was upstairs banging his wife, and Stan rings the fucking doorbell.
Doesn't Jen bang him? I don't think.
Whatever it is.
Kevin was doing a lot of that.
But just say it's like, if I ever told 12-year-old me, one day you're going to be getting some naked, and Stanley's going to ring your doorbell. So it was great. And that, like I said, not to we're all Kevin kiss ups and stuff like that, but that was like, to me, like that whole FANMEN thing was just like the perfect like send off for it.
Yeah.
They kind of like hit all the
Kev's
all the
a perfect
emotions.
example of somebody that started as a creator, but Stan was really the model for that, where Kev makes money for being Kev.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is exactly
Kevin,
what Stan was doing for the last 30-something years of his life.
It's a good job if you can get it.
It's a beautiful job if you can make money off who you are.
Yeah.
No question. You just get to live your best life.
Yeah. Must be nice.
Yeah.
I do. I'm just not an entertainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm still not choosing what I do, so
Yeah.
I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah. So I still waste away in a freaking office all day. So, but yeah. So, we're not going to do a top 3 this week, just because it's everything Stan did was number 1. But give me just one. Since most people know him from the camp, we won't go into the best characters he created, because that could go on for hours. But what was your, if you had to pick one of the Stan Lee cameos in the movies, what was your favorite one? Just one.
I mean, the only one I can really pick is Mallrats, because which I know isn't a cameo, but I mean, the other, that's the only one that spoke to me, that represented what Stan represents to me, which is an elder, knowledgeable statesman who can give heartfelt advice and has knowledge about, so that's the one for me that always comes to mind.
That'll always be the image in my head. When I think of Stan, it's going to be Stan.
There in the mall with
me too. Me too. Too much that they put him on the poster, for Christ's sakes. It's like,
yeah.
It's the first time I met him, that poster is what I brought for him to sign.
Yeah. That's right.
It wasn't one of the books or anything. I mean, that was my gateway to Stan.
Yeah.
So, that'll be what I always think about. I think if I had to pick one of the cameos, it's probably him with the Watchers.
Yeah. That's the other
It just
one.
kind of ties it
If
all
I have to
together.
pick a true cameo,
And the idea that they're playing off the fact that he's showing up in all of these movies.
Yeah.
Because he's essentially one of them.
Yeah. That was,
that kind of did it for me.
I actually, when I saw that in the theater, I got a little misty-eyed.
That was perfect. He's also holding court, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're standing around Stan on
yeah. So I said I count Mallrats as more like a role for him, but same thing. Like, to me that's my everlasting Stan moment, is the scene he's in the Mallrats. It was
him and Jason Lee.
Exactly. It was perfect. It was hilarious. Since you guys took the Watcher one away, I'll go. No, I'm saying we're not the same one. I'm actually gonna go blasphemy. I'm probably gonna get hate me.
Nonsense. I'm
going with a non-Marvel movie.
Okay.
Stan Lee and Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Oh, I haven't seen
That's
that
a
yet.
fucking awesome cameo.
Yeah.
And because it's basically...
No, it's his voice, I assume.
Yeah. It's a cartoon version, but it's basically making fun of Stan Lee cameos.
Oh.
He's like, I'm Stan Lee, and I love cameos. And then he comes back and he's like, oh, this is a DC movie? Oh, run away. He runs away.
Doesn't he also show up in Princess Diaries? Oh no,
he's in Princess Diaries. He's not Stan Lee though. He's a part.
He's a guest at the wedding, right?
That's Princess Diaries 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I will openly, say I love the Princess Diaries movies.
Yeah, those movies are great. But yeah, then he comes back later on and he's like, I don't care if it's a DC movie. I love cameos.
Yeah, I guess I need to watch that.
Yeah.
My kids love it.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, the movie's great. But it's because maybe because I watched on the plane again for the second time. It was the last one I saw. And just like I said, because you don't see him. You see him as a cartoon. He's all like, doing like cartwheels and stuff. And you're like, but he's still got Stan's voice. And it's just, vintage Stan.
He doesn't take himself seriously, but takes himself as a character. Yeah,
exactly. Because if you think about the greatest character Stan Lee ever created was probably Stan Lee.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. No question.
Agreed.
So,
rest in peace, sir.
Yeah, rest in peace, Stan. So I said that's thought he was going to live forever, but he's to me he's invincible. He's immortal. So he's Stan the Man Lee. So
his impact will not be forgotten.
Yeah. So then we get that out. So that's said we're going a little short. Like I said, we didn't want to lump anything else. He's, figured he deserved his own run. So thanks everyone for joining us. And if you want to hit us up on Twitter at FMen37, I'm at Deidrenaut. Sean is at Vacaboca. Chris is at ChrisDavis_37. You can follow, subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud. We will be coming soon to Alexa speakers.
Oh,
once that gets figured out, there's a technical glitch, I guess, with SoundCloud feed. So we're working on that with the vendor.
You're going to be able to ask hey Alexa, play FANMEN.
Yep, and then eventually, if you just say play podcast, we'll get put in that rotation, I guess.
Oh, interesting.
I filled out the form, so
excellent.
Yeah. So I hope everyone joins us next week, and R.I.P. Stan.
R.I.P. Stan.